Hello, everybody. This is Derek from Sports Info. We're ready to get started here. Illinois just finished up practice, so I'm going to turn it over to Coach to recap the film from Rutgers, and then we'll take your questions about Michigan State.
Thanks, DB. Obviously, in watching the film, I thought the thing that stood out for us was we had a couple runs there during the game, both offensively and defensively, where I thought we were really good. I didn't necessarily like the way we finished defensively the last 10 minutes. I didn't think we were quite as locked in from a concentration standpoint as I would have liked. We took a look at that yesterday. Right now, obviously, we've turned the page into February, so I expect a little bit more consistency with that, especially with our defending, with our rebounding, and with our taking care of the ball. I've said all along, I think those are, three very big keys to playing well in this league. We've certainly done that at times. I'd just like to see us do it more consistently. The good news is I don't think we've done it as consistent as I would like at this point, so that means we've shown we can do it, and that means we still have a ceiling, which is good, as we can improve, I think, in all three of those areas from a consistency standpoint. So thought that we practiced really well the last 2 days. Obviously we just finished up. We're getting ready to head to East Lansing here this afternoon, play a really good Michigan State team. The things I think that stand out for me are, how fast they are in transition, how good they are on the backboard, which always seems to be certainly a noticeable mark of Coach Izzo's teams. And then I think they execute really well with great precision. They screen well. And then I think they're older guys, Trice, Valentine, those guys that have been there, for some time, Dawson, those guys, Costello. You can tell they really, from the outside looking in, believe in their system and execute it very, very well. So their execution, their toughness, their rebounding, their transition, all of those things I think will be great challenges for us tomorrow. Questions?
John, it's Jeremy. Obviously, they've had a lot of turnover. How have you seen those guys, Valentine, Trice, and Dawson grow this year?
Well, I think what's interesting is we started out this phone conversation talking about consistency, and I think, certainly from an outsider's perspective, I don't coach them every day. You'd have to ask Coach Izzo, but just from watching all the film and seeing them play different times throughout the year, I think those three guys have been, very consistent. When you look at their production, and not only have they been consistent, they've been very efficient with what they do, and a lot of that, I was referring to earlier with their execution. So, I think consistency is the word that I would use when I see those three guys. When I see Trice, Valentine, Dawson, those guys, Costello, those guys that have been around. Schilling is a second-year guy. I've been impressed with his development. I think he looks bigger, stronger, great on the glass, really competes. So, those guys, consistency is probably the word that comes to mind, Jeremy.
John, it's Mark. Boy, you just don't see guys averaging double-doubles, and yet Dawson is doing it right now. He's always had an appetite for rebounding, hasn't he?
He has. He's terrific on the glass. He's a great athlete. He has great instincts on the backboard, pursues balls. I think he's really, really improved offensively each of the years that I've watched him, from my first year here to my second year here to now my third year here. I think he's continued to get better. Offensively, he's always been a great rebounder and seems to really understand, what he brings to the table, and he brings it to the table very, very well, very consistently.
Hey, John, Kevin and I were talking that he had some confidence coming off of that Penn State game going into Rutgers, and then maybe he can get some more going into this game. Have you seen that the past couple of days?
Yeah, he's getting a little bit better, hopefully using the Penn State game and the Rutgers game from a confidence perspective. He had the opportunity, obviously to play and make an impact in both of those games. Consistency is kind of what I'm looking for from him. He's got to be more consistent in practice, more consistent with, competing, and he knows that. I think he has taken some steps in the right direction, though, here recently.
Coach, I'll ask about the two guys, whether they'll be playing. Have you made a decision one way or the other, or is it still just game time?
Well, at this point, still indefinitely suspended.
Okay. Does that mean that they won't play or that they might play?
At this point, still indefinitely suspended.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, John, is Ray practicing full go, or is he been limited still then?
Both guys right now have been full go with, minor, at times we'll pull them out here and there of different things and continuing their rehab and their treatment, but both guys are on track physically. From a medical perspective, they look great, and, right now just more than anything trying to keep their cardio up.
What do you remember, John, about you guys won up there last year, held them to under 50. What do you recall about that game, the tenor of that game up there?
I thought we defended well. I thought we, I thought we played with some toughness. I thought that, we were really together, had good poise, good composure. Thought we were mentally tough. You have to be tough when you play them. I mean, I've got a lot of respect for them and their program and how they play and how tough they are, and they execute well and put their players in position to be successful. And obviously, they've created a great home environment up there over the years. So, we played well last year, especially I thought on the defensive end, and fortunately we're able to kind of gut out a win.
Hey, John, you've always talked about when you add or delete a player, it changes a team. Do you address that, or do you address that with the team, or do you just kind of let it happen as it goes whenever those guys come back?
No, we'll address it when appropriate in terms of role definition at the current time where we're at in the moment of our season, and do what's best. What's best for our team. It's about the team. We're in February. We're trying to play our best basketball here late in the year. That is a little bit of a variable, but we'll address it when it's appropriate.
Thanks.
This is Shannon. With those two guys, do you have an actual date in mind for them to return, or do you just need to see more from them?
They're indefinitely suspended at this time.
Okay, and another question is, you talked about that Michigan State game last year on the road winning. Are you using that as a reference point or motivational point with the team? Well,
we've showed some of the clips, Shannon, for sure, obviously in video, and, there's some similarities between last year's team and this year's team for them, so there's some takeaway you can get, and there's some similarities between our team last year and this year's team. We have quite a few guys on our team this year that played in that game, so we use that film as well as current film. I mean, obviously to teach our guys, in terms of environment and being poised and being tough. I think that's true, obviously, of a lot of places that we play at in our league. I think you do have to have a certain level of mental and physical toughness to be competitive and to play well in this league, period, but certainly on the road. And, so we've talked a little bit about that. And I thought last year in that game we had that, but this time it's this year. It's not a guarantee. We have to bring that same toughness both mentally and physically to the table this year.
John, you go from crazy late start to crazy early start. What time does the basketball clock start ticking for your kids tomorrow morning? What's the first activity that they have to be involved with?
Well, we'll get them up early in the morning there, and we'll obviously eat our pregame meal as well as do, walk through a couple things there. But, for the most part, our prep will be finished up with such an early tip. We'll be finished up later tonight.
Okay.
Is that all for Coach?
I'm good.
Okay, thanks, guys. Travel safe.
Thank you.